Hello, hello. Welcome to day 2 after hours, day 3 of .NET Conf 2022. I am your host for the next several hours here from the beautiful Pacific Northwest, James Montemagno from our developer community team. You might have saw me yesterday presenting on Blazor Hybrid in a hybrid session with me and Elon in studio over here on the beautiful coastal line. I'm super excited because we have an action-packed 24 hours of amazing content around the globe from team members here at Microsoft and from community members absolutely everywhere. Like Jeff just said, we have all sorts of amazing content that you can find at .NETconf.net, the full agenda lineup. But that's right, over the next 24 hours, there's going to be a ridiculous amount of awesome .NET content for you to enjoy from open source contributors, from team members, and from just some amazing people that want to share their love and passion and knowledge with you all about .NET and why they fell in love with it and why they think the cool things that they're going to show you will make you fall in love with it even more. Now, we just got out of some of our amazing sessions all about doing migration and some really cool services to move your applications forward. If you know anything about me, I've been a Xamarin and now .NET MAUI developer for nearly a decade building and crafting applications. And I'm about to go through one of the most amazing, most fun things, which is actually taking all the things that I've been learning about .NET MAUI and take some of my existing Xamarin Forms apps and upgrading them. And the one and only person that can help us with that is the one and only Sweeky. How's it going, Sweeky?
Hey, James. Hey, everyone. What's up? What's up?
I'm so excited because I know that you've been going nonstop helping developers do this migration with some tips and tricks, but I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away and kick off the after hours sessions here at .NET Conf.
Yes, number one. Okay. Okay, everyone, let's go. So welcome to the session on upgrading Xamarin apps to .NET MAUI. I'm Sweeky, and I'm going to try in the next 20-25 minutes to give you guys a quick overview on what it's like to upgrade your apps and also give you like a sort of guideline, like a checklist of sorts to help you get prepared to get your apps from Xamarin to .NET MAUI. So let's get started. For those who are just tuning in or those who are not familiar of what I'm talking about, so .NET MAUI is the latest and greatest offering that we have. So this lets you write your code. So one single project written in C#, and you can deploy it to WinUI. You can deploy to Mac Catalyst, iOS, Android. You have a much more productive development cycle, and you also have access to all the native APIs, and you get native performance for all the apps that you build. So sounds like .NET MAUI is awesome. It truly is. So let's talk about how we can get our Xamarin apps to move over to using .NET MAUI and make them, awesome as well. So first up, what is migration? To be honest, this is literally the first thing that comes to mind for me. Birds flying, it's cold, they want to go from a cold place to a hot place, things like that. Not what we're talking about today, though. The migration we're talking about today is we had Xamarin. We all love Xamarin. Like GM said, people have been using Xamarin for almost a decade. We are transforming it to .NET MAUI. Woo! Okay, so I hope everyone's as excited as I am. It's very exciting, and I think that's the mindset you want to go into this. Be excited, because it's going to be a great journey. You're going to come out with an amazing app at the end of this, right? So first and foremost, why even upgrade? Like, why even take the effort to move your apps from Xamarin to, .NET MAUI? There's a bunch of amazing enhancements that have come out in .NET MAUI. But for me, if I want to pick, there's like the top 3 in this that are my favorites. So first of all is multi-window support in desktop. It's awesome. I've been doing it. We've been helping a customer do it for their Mac Catalyst app and for their Windows app. Amazing. The other cool thing for me is unified with .NET. If you've written as many DevOps pipelines as I have, I did not like having to use all the different tasks, there's a special task for Xamarin iOS, separate tasks for Xamarin Android. It's a whole thing. With this unified .NET experience, everything just works with .NET. That's it, with the .NET CLI. So you install the .NET CLI, you do .NET Restore, .NET Build, .NET Publish, and you have your app ready. It's amazing, and there's no reason not to have CI anymore. You know what I talk. If you know me, you know me. No more reason not to have good CI. And the last awesome feature for me is the rebuilt layouts. The new layouts are extremely performant, super good, and all of the weird quirks that we had with Xamarin Forms, they've reworked it. It works really well. So If you ask me, that's 3 really, really strong reasons. And there's 5 more on this slide, which I'd recommend definitely check out .NET MAUI and definitely look into migrating your apps. And if 8 points were not enough, and if you're like a visual person like me, on the right is what our old Xamarin Form CS Proj looks like. When you move on to the new CS Proj, the SDK style CS Proj with .NET MAUI, look how small and clean and concise it is. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And if anything, this is the perfect reason why you'd want to switch over, if you ask me. All right. So next question. But Swiki, who's even migrating right now? Didn't we like just drop Net 7 yesterday? And what are you talking about? Who's doing this migration? Well, I, in Microsoft, work in this awesome team where we directly engage with customers. And there are 3, names up there on the screen right now. You might find some of them familiar. Maddie and Dave spoke about Civica yesterday during their State of Maui. So we've been working with Civica. We've worked with a couple of internal Microsoft customers who are in the process of migrating. And we are also working with Polaris, our awesome friends at Polaris, who are also starting their migration journey. So there are actually big apps who are looking to migrate, and they're having a good time with it. So definitely check it out. And again, this has seemed familiar from the State of Maui presentation from yesterday, but I just pulled this out because these quotes are like amazing, and it speaks to why developers are very, very excited and are looking to move from Xamarin to .NET MAUI. So I hope that's convincing you, because it is, it's like, it's there, it's happening, and you should just totally do it. All right, so the moment of truth, this is what I've been talking about. So let's talk about how do you know your app is ready, or like how do I check if I'm ready to do my upgrade and start with the process. All right, so step number 1 for me is, let's talk timelines. So this is the release schedule and support patching. Again, this has been a couple of different talks around .NET MAUI have been sharing this, so I'm just resharing it. But for the purposes of migration and figuring out a migration timeline, the most important date to look over here is enter service is May of 2024. And I would say, just to be cautious, let's move that back to April 2024 and make that this is the last date by which I should have my app migrated, and work backwards from there. So that's the timeline you want to look at for when you want to get this migration process done. Next up, let's talk about the next few steps you have to take in your checklist. Let's call this a checklist, and get things started, right? So first up, health check your app. What I mean, and I'll be going into detail about each of these steps, but here's like the high level checklist of things you want to do. First step, let's health check your app. Next step, NuGet dependencies analysis. And this is a big one, and I will spend I'll be spending a good amount of time explaining through what we have planned out for this. The third step would be looking at binding projects. So if if you're maintaining a native binding project of your own, that's another thing you want to take care of. And the last big bucket of things you want to look at is your custom renderers. So this is our checklist. Let's go deep into each one of these steps. So when I'm talking about health checking your app, what I mean is, do remove any extra custom renderers that you don't require. Maybe there's a Maui native control that could do the job for you. You want to move on to the latest and greatest Xamarin Forms. You want to make sure you're using Xamarin Essentials as much as you can. And if you're like me, get yourself a fruity drink. I am having tropical roots. That's great. Nice, or like juice. You're not planned. It was absolutely coinky dink. And it says sunglasses optional, but Maddie set up the stage yesterday, so you want to get your sunglasses on and get started for this process. Do not, though, if you're using any obsolete APIs, this is a good time to refactor and move away. I'm going to take these off so I don't look like I can see my slides. All right. Do not panic. We are here to help. There are guides. Guides will be sharing. There's going to be tooling that will help you. So do not panic. Do not neglect your apps for the next few months also. Once you start this migration process, you want to make sure you're like keeping it up to date. You're, updating everything. Make sure you're on, the latest and greatest of everything. And of course, breathe. There's no need to panic. Everyone is here to help you. All right. So the next thing is, let's talk about the biggest step here, which is your NuGet libraries and your dependencies and your packages. So first off, this is the biggest step you have to take according to me right now. So you want to go in and start analyzing your dependencies. So You want to check what the state of the packages are that you're using. A lot of them, I'll be sharing the second, have been migrated or in the process or have support already, which is amazing. James, awesome James has already for example, has already updated all of the NuGet surface that you can use. So a lot of the stuff is in the process. If you see something that's not, maybe reach out. If it's an open source project, maybe reach out to them, go check out. Maybe they're looking for some help. Maybe you can go in and help. But essentially start making an inventory of your NuGet packages. That's going to be the first step you'd want to take. Also, a good time if you're like using something that is already inbuilt into Maui, maybe it's a good time to just move away and refactor some of that code. Okay, so next up, we have a bigger slide. So this is, thank you, David, for making this slide and letting me borrow it. So again, this is David and Maddie like talking about all the different ecosystem and all the support that we have for packages that are already on, are already having .NET MAUI support. So there's a lot already there. There's a lot of work still being put in. So good time right now. Go and start looking at your packages, evaluate what's ready and what's not. And as I was mentioning, we've been doing a lot of customer engagements, and we've been having, and this is the exact, sort of steps that we're making the customers also go through as they're starting their migration journey. So going through these steps with a few of our customers, this is just some of the popular packages that showed up to me. And just to show you that you can see a majority of them are already like sort of migrated and have support. For stuff like RG plugins and for Auth0, there is support. It just needs to be tested out, and maybe there's a small API change that needs to be taken care of and things like that. So things are happening and there is support out there. So like, again, go in there, start inventorying your NuGet packages. All right, next step. So you were a brave soul and you wrote a binding library. Keep calm. Everything is fine. You can continue your migration journey. This is not a blocker. You, in a very high level step of what you would need to do is you need to retarget. So you need to add your Net7 TFMs. For iOS, it might be a few API changes, not that many for Android, and you need to rebuild your library. So we have resources. I'll be sharing links to this at the end. The slide deck will be shared out. So you can grab the resources, have a look at what the changes look like, and you'll be fine. It's just a matter of retargeting and rebuilding. And like I said, we have docs. We have more docs coming up as well for this. All right, next step. And the last checklist point is custom renderers. If you had a lot of custom renderers, we have a MAUI wiki page, which basically walks you through porting your custom renderers to handlers. Jared, the awesome Jared, who is also going to be is going to be presenting in day 3. So check out his session on the community toolkit. But he also has a video on how to like sort of migrate your Xamarin custom renderers to work with the new handler structure in .NET MAUI. Javier, the awesome Javier on the .NET MAUI team, has a bunch of repos where he has a lot of information and samples of how the migration could look like. And there's another video with Sam Basu from Progress, Telerik, and Javier, who are talking about, again, what does it look like to port your custom renderer to .NET MAUI? So again, don't freak out. It's going to happen. There's support out there, there's steps out there, and it is absolutely doable. So again, not a blocker. It's just a little bit of work has to be done. All right, so here's the checklist again. As we go through this checklist, honestly, it's an upward graph. You are setting yourself up to success to zoom into .NET MAUI land. I am realizing now that the new .NET board is way cooler than the one I use. It's 3D and stuff. So maybe I should redo this to use the 3D board. Anyways, so let's recap the steps again. We have a timeline. We know when we need to get stuff done. We do a health check. We do NuGet analysis, look over our binding projects, and look through custom renderers. So once you have all of this stuff cleaned up and ready, and you have an inventory of like, okay, my binding projects are ready. I know how my custom renderers need to be moved away. I know the NuGets, I'm good to go. We can begin our migration adventure. So in the journey of migration, there's 2 ways you can go about it right now. So there's, of course, the manual migration process. I'll just talk about it in just a second. So that's option number 1. And option number 2 is automate part of your process by using Upgrade Assistant. Upgrade Assistant is an amazing tool. There was a talk earlier this afternoon about it. There was a talk right before about it. This is a talk about it. There's a few other talks about it. So it's an awesome tool that's being maintained, and we're going to be adding more support to it. Again, we'll be talking about it in just a second. So pick your adventure, pick which path you want to go. There's no wrong answer here. It's just these are your options and just pick whichever one you feel most comfortable with. So talking of manual migration, we have a getting started with the migration doc that you can go check out. It walks you through the initial like bunch of steps that you have to do. And I also have a bunch of samples that I've linked over here, including James's My Coffee app, which I went around and tried and upgraded for him. So which I will give him a PR soon because I just finished doing the iOS app. Yep. There's also the last 2 points I have linked. So Brandon Minnick was on the community stand-up from the Maui Community Toolkit team, and he talked about how they migrated the community toolkit from Xamarin to the Maui Community Toolkit, and there's a README on their repo, which is the one I've linked, and there's a script there as well. So if you want to use that script to do some quick find and replace, that's a great place to start. So for manual migration, high level, the steps you're looking at is you'd want to convert your SDK style projects. This is also a fork where you can maintain your project heads if you want to, or you can go straight to single project. Yeah, pick what you have to do, but you still have to go to SDK style projects. You will have to find and replace a bunch of namespaces. Again, you can use the script for it. You can use Visual Studio Code and do a find and replace, whatever works best for you. There's a bunch of new template files that you need to add. So you can just do a file new Maui app and grab those files from there. Of course, upgrade and replace your dependencies. And the last 2 steps are kind of like a rinse and repeat. And that's when you start sort of compiling your app, see what errors there are, fix the errors, come back again, and repeat. So slightly cumbersome, but not undoable. Oh, I'm sorry. And what I forgot to mention is the screenshot is from Plant Lady, which I migrated, which is Maddie's app. So the number of lines that I deleted was massive because the new project structure in .NET Maui is amazing, and you don't need so many of these unnecessary files and configuration stuff that we used to have. Much more clean, much easier to maintain. So again, another visual cue here that definitely start looking at migrating your apps. And hey, so that was meant to be a hey Google joke, but I don't want to say that and trigger any of your Google Homes. But let's get an automated tool to help you with your migration process. So Upgrade Assistant, as the name says, it's an assistant. It's here to sort of help you, guide you through the process. It's not going to do a full conversion for you, but it'll try and get you as close to a final state as possible. So incidentally, literally, I put the slide in because yesterday the Upgrade Assistant team, did a release, and the video that you're watching right now is the Upgrade Assistant, the latest version, 0.4.335 running right now. So go check it out, go download it. They've added a bunch of bug fixes. It's a lot more improved now. And you can also run it in non-interactive mode. So you don't have to keep hitting enter. You can just let the tool just run and do all the things it does. So of course, Upgrade Assistant is still in development, so please do use it and let us know what issues you're facing. Also, what you're seeing right now is the cool new step that actually checks if you have the .NET Maui workloads installed. So if you don't have the correct workloads installed, it will let you know that, hey, you need to go get your environment set up first. So awesome new fixes coming into Upgrade Assistant. The tool's going to just keep getting better and better. So definitely try it and let us know how it goes. All right. We're coming towards the end, and what I wanted to highlight here is keep an eye out. We're going to have docs coming out soon. We're working on a bigger migration guide to give you more information on what do I do with the binding projects I was talking about. I have a native iOS app, native Android app. What do I do about those and things like that? So we're going to be putting out those docs very, very soon. And for Upgrade Assistant, we are actively working on it. So we're going to be adding more features, and we're going to improve its reliability. We're going to try and pull in as many of the API changes that we can into the tool itself. So there's less and less manual work for you to do. And we're also investigating Mac support. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes around migration, and we are looking forward to making this a much, much smoother and cooler journey for everyone. All right. So that's all I actually have to share today. It was quick and easy to show you. It's quick and super easy to start getting, your apps migrated. So the link is up there. We'll have this shared out. I know we have a giant repo usually where all the decks go into. So we'll share all this information out. And back to you, James. I'm gonna put my huge glasses back on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sweeky. I have some good questions that came in from the
Yes.
chat. So if you are watching on Twitch or YouTube or wherever you're at, just feel free to drop questions right in there. We're going to be highlighting those in general. You mentioned this at the end, but Jans was asking about the upgrade assistant here. It's Windows only right now. Can you talk a little bit about the work being done there?
Yes. A sneak peek into the experience that's coming up is yes, it is Windows only .NET CLI tool at the moment. We are investigating getting it onto the Mac in the CLI tool version, so you can have like a Mac CLI tool version. But we're also, if you caught Olia, Taylor, and Mike's talk earlier today, they demoed actually the experience inside Visual Studio where you can right click and hit migrate. So we're actually collaborating with that team to see if there's a potential to get this experience into the Visual Studio extension as well. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes, and it's very, very exciting, all of the conversations that are going on. But yes, we are actively looking at getting the experience not only to Mac, but also making it a inside Visual Studio experience as well. So you don't have to keep, switching between tools.
Very cool. I guess you could always like spin up a VM really quick and then just
yeah, I know. And it's like I said, it's you run it in non-interactive mode, so it's like you don't have to keep hitting enter. So you just sort of let it run, do its thing, and then you just grab the stuff and you can just keep making the rest of the changes on the Mac.
Nice. Question here from Lucas, which is, I have a Xamarin app today that is using Skia and Firebase. Will that be easy to migrate to .NET MAUI?
Ooh, awesome question. So let me see if I can make this very less jarring and go back to that little nifty slide I had. But yes, Skia support is actually already there for .NET MAUI. Thank you, Matt Leibowitz. Whoop, whoop. And for Firebase, I believe Gerald, the number of times I say Gerald's name in a .NET MAUI talk blows my mind. Javier and Gerald. But Gerald, I think just a few days ago, actually posted about how to use Firebase in .NET MAUI. So yes, if those are the only two dependencies you were unsure about, you go forth and migrate because you have support already for it.
Very cool. Another thing that I've been telling folks as well, because I've been going through the process of analyzing some of my applications and looking, is I've actually been telling people, even if some of the libraries that you're using haven't put out a new NuGet package, that shouldn't necessarily stop you, right? Open source projects, you could just take that source code and put it into your app as another project.
Absolutely.
There is a .NET MAUI library. So if you want to, if you're like, I need to get this app going and moving and I need this library and you can't wait and you need to do it today, you like all of your existing Xamarin code, like those plugins will just work, correct?
Yep. And if I may, use James's, different projects and libraries as a sample if you want to, because he's like, you've done such a great job. You've got so many of your things migrated. Your in-app plugin is my favorite sample to share with folks if they want to say, how do I migrate a library? I'm like, go check this out. So use that as a reference, use a blank library project as a reference. And I would also add on another step to that, pay it back to the open source community. If you do get it working, I'm very sure the maintainers would be happy to accept a PR that gets this access to everyone. So definitely give it a shot. It's not that hard to do. Like I said, the high level steps are literally retarget, build, do some API changes, which are mostly right now isolated just to iOS. A few of those API changes, and you should be able to at least get a local version of, the library building.
And that's what I did for one of my Bluetooth plugins that I've been using. I wanted to migrate to Shiny, but then I said, well, I don't want to rewrite all my code. So I did a PR to the Bluetooth low energy plugin, and we've been working through some of the things there because every pipeline is different. But it's like I have the source code and it just runs naturally. So it's totally good to go. Another question here, and I'll answer it and you can answer it too. Of the amount, because we're talking about the Plant Lady app here, of all of the plants that you have that are real plants, how many of them are still alive?
Oh boy, that app is technically Maddie's app, so you should redirect that question to her. For me, I swear my friend gifted us a plant as a gift for a party that we'd gone to, and our cat literally saw it and gobbled it up in like one bite. So chances of the plant surviving in my house are slightly low till we train our cats not to eat every plant we get in. So yeah.
I have one plant that my sister gifted me. See, like we did not buy the plants. They were given to us, and it's like a challenge. Can you keep this? Because they're going to come over and visit
And
your
they're going to
house.
ask, right? I know.
Where'd
And
that
now I
plant
have to
go?
embarrassingly share the stupid cat story. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I do care
Oh.
about you, but it's just cat doesn't understand. I don't know what to do.
We have like one plant. It's not there. We have a lot of fake plants, and all those plants are alive, which is great. Fake plants for the win. Last question here before I let you out of here. You mentioned a little bit about App Center. I know that Maddie also mentioned a little bit. I know she's in the chat. Can you give a just kind of update there? I know you saw some of the packages were there, but those are just ready to go on NuGet. Are they beta preview rolling out status?
I'm very bad at remembering right now. They were beta packages, but I believe they might have actually set them up to release versions now. But don't quote me on it. Just go to NuGet and check. But if you're also curious, this is all open source. You can actually go check out the repo and check out the PRs as well. If you're curious, again, how did a library migrate? Check out the work being done. So App Center crashes analytics. It's migrated over. It works. It's been tested. All good. UI test, a couple of PRs are open. Work is being going on for it as well. So yes, App Center support is being worked on. And if they're not out of beta yet, they should be out of beta soon. But I do know the crashes and analytics NuGets are out. And again, Jared made a video on it. So go check it out. So,
one last final question from Kali here. Great question. Because we often talk about migrating from Xamarin Forms to .NET MAUI, but some developers at a core level, right, are using just Xamarin Android or Xamarin iOS. And remember, that's the core foundation, not only .NET MAUI, but Avaluna, are built on top of, right, the core infrastructure. They ask, is there a migration process there for Xamarin Android to .NET 6, .NET 7 Android?
Yes, there is. We don't have it in Upgrade Assistant yet. The steps for that will be added to Upgrade Assistant soon. For now, the migration docs that I was talking about, there's going to be a specific doc that will target how to get your native iOS and native, like so your Xamarin iOS and Xamarin Android apps over to Net 7 iOS, Net 7 Android. And also the resources that I have up right now, those are just like, I know it says it's specifically for binding libraries or for, just so bad. It's actually not. It's like the Android and iOS teams have just given you a information dump of, hey, this is what migration looks like, and this is what APIs map to, this is what project properties map to. So you can actually use that as an amazing starting point to get started with those migrations as well.
Awesome. Sweeky, as always, absolutely delightful and absolutely amazing. Have an amazing afternoon. Yeah. And I'm excited to get that pull request into my coffee app.
My coffee app's coming soon to a GitHub near you. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sweeky. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Awesome. Super excited. Hopefully you are on your journey to upgrading your applications to .NET MAUI, .NET 7, or any application as well with the Upgrade Assistant. It's absolutely delightful to see that tool continue to go.